Every parent who has ever tried to raise a strong kid runs into the same wall. Push too hard and something breaks. Go too easy, and you raise someone who cannot handle the first real hit life throws at him. Long before parenting books existed, one Roman father built his own answer to that problem. He could have hired the empire's best tutors for his son. Instead, he got up before dawn and taught the boy to read himself, letter by letter, because he did not trust anyone else to shape a child's mind. He never raised his voice around the boy, not once, not even when the anger was justified. A son becomes what he watches, not what he is told. Now picture a different father, the most powerful man alive. He wrote down every single lesson his own father ever taught him in his own hand, so he would never forget one of them. He tried to pass that same inheritance on to his own son. And that son grew up to become one of the cruelest, most self-indulgent rulers Rome ever produced, remembered not for strength, but for the exact weakness his father spent a lifetime trying to prevent. Same devotion, same discipline. Two sons, two completely different outcomes. So what actually decided whether a Stoic son grew up strong or just broke in a different direction? That first father was Antoninus, emperor of Rome. The son who watched him was a boy named Marcus, who we now know as Marcus Aurelius. And the second father, the one whose son went so badly wrong, was Marcus himself. Before Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, he was a boy taking notes on his own upbringing. Notes that survive today as the opening chapter of Meditations, a private journal he never intended anyone else to read. That first chapter is not philosophy. It is a list, 17 separate entries, one influence at a time. His birth father, his mother, his tutors, and most of all, Antoninus, the man who adopted him and raised him as his own son. None of the lessons Marcus wrote down are work harder or toughen up. They are smaller than that. From Antoninus, steadiness in judgment, no matter how a situation shifted. Indifference to empty honors. A refusal to be flattered. Working through problems himself instead of handing them to someone else. Listening all the way through before responding. Living simply, inside a palace that could have afforded any luxury in the known world. Marcus never said his father sat him down and explained self-control. He said he watched it every day, until expecting it of himself felt normal. Marcus wrote down 17 separate lessons about restraint in a single chapter, as if one reminder would never be enough to make it stick. If that sounds relatable, you're in good company. Even the most disciplined man in the ancient world needed the list written down more than once in his own hand. But here is where it gets complicated. Not every Stoic household got the balance right on the first try. A generation earlier, a sickly, intense young man named Seneca fell hard for a group of teachers preaching extreme self-denial, sleeping on bare ground, giving up meat, giving up wine, treating every comfort as a weakness to be burned off. Seneca loved it. He said it made him feel powerful. His own father did not share the enthusiasm. By Seneca's own account, the man had little patience for philosophy to begin with. There was also real risk in it. Rome under Tiberius was cracking down on foreign cults, and a young man giving up meat could look like sympathy for a suspect religion. His father pushed him to stop. Seneca went back to eating. He lived to write some of the most influential letters in Western philosophy, and decades later, he argued that real strength was never about how much a person could suffer. It was about how little a person needed to suffer in order to stay in control of himself. That is the part most people miss when they picture Stoic parenting. It was never a contest to see how much hardship a kid could absorb. Raising a son who could endure anything and raising a son who needed nothing were treated as two different goals. Only one of them was ever the actual point. Which brings us back to Marcus and the son he tried to raise the way his own father had raised him. Marcus took his son, Commodus, on military campaigns while he was still a teenager. He gave him real responsibility early. Co-emperor, at 16, one of the youngest in Roman history to hold the title. On paper, that is exposure to hardship and duty, the same formula that shaped Marcus. But there is a detail historians keep circling back to. While Marcus spent his evenings writing private, unglamorous notes to himself about restraint, his son spent his evenings surrounded by a court that had already learned the fastest route to a young co-emperor's favor was flattery, spectacle, and letting him win. Nobody modeled restraint for Commodus. Everybody performed loyalty at him instead. Picture Antoninus, up before the rest of the household, quietly doing the unglamorous work himself, instead of explaining why hard work mattered, while a boy watches from the doorway, learning without being taught a single lesson out loud. Now picture yourself today, saying nothing about patience, just staying steady through a bad night, a difficult diagnosis, a rough day at work, while your own kid watches from that exact same doorway. Different century, the same lesson, delivered the same silent way. And here is the detail that changes the whole story. Commodus was not physically weak. By every surviving account, he was one of the strongest men in Rome. He fought in the gladiatorial arena himself, hundreds of times, and reportedly never lost. If strength meant muscle, endurance, raw physical dominance, his father's training worked exactly as intended. But the Stoics never defined weakness as a soft body. They defined it as a mind that cannot refuse itself anything. By that definition, Commodus became one of the weakest men to ever sit on the Roman throne, ruled entirely by applause, by spectacle, by the need to be adored in the moment, unable to sit still with a decision that did not feel good. He inherited his father's strength and none of his father's restraint. He could survive the arena. He could not survive being told no. So Stoic fathers were never trying to raise sons who could take a hit. They were trying to raise sons who would not need one. Sons who did not require comfort or applause or winning, just to stay steady. Antoninus modeled it, and it worked. Seneca's father cut the practice short before it could put his son in real danger. Marcus tried to hand down that exact same inheritance to his own son. Except this time, the lessons arrived without a father standing beside them every day to model them, and a palace full of flattery filled the silence instead. The method never failed. The order it arrived in did, and here is the detail historians keep circling back to, the one that never makes it into the highlight reel of Marcus Aurelius quotes. Across every single page of Meditations, Marcus writes about his father, his mother, his tutors, his friends, even the people who wronged him, by name, in detail, over and over. He never once writes about Commodus, not a single word, in a journal otherwise built entirely out of the people who shaped him. The one relationship that was supposed to matter most is the one he never put on the page. That silence is where we're picking this up next.